Welcome back to Florida. Today I'm not coming to you from the warm beaches of Destin or the vibrant energy of Miami, but from Central Florida at a development called The Villages. Some of you will be familiar with The Villages. If you're not, I will try to do my best during this video to give you a snapshot of what this whole phenomenon is about. The Villages is a huge master planned community in Central Florida. We're kind of nestled here between Ocala and Orlando. And I'll tell you what, if this isn't the largest master plan community in the world, I don't know what is. This place is huge. To try to describe what the Villages is, think of a gated golf course community that has other activities as well, and then clone that about 350 times or more. That's what the Villages is about. It is a master planned, primarily golf course gated community, sort of gated. You can still get in, but it is very, very monitored in that sense, right in the middle of Florida. And it's a 55 plus community. In other words, to live here, you need to be at least 55 years old, which in my world right now seems kind of young. Where I'm coming to you now is from a place called Sumter Landing. And you can see Sumter Landing is nestled right along a fairly large man-made lake. Sumter Landing is one of what is known as the squares here in the Villages. And when you hear the word square in the Villages, think town center. Town center is how they used to be decades ago, with a central meeting place or a park, which is right behind me. And surrounding that central meeting place or park or square are local businesses. And some are local, some are national chains. It's really quite a clever concept. Here is the central square at Sumter Landing, and if you've ever been to Mexico and you visited the piazza in the evening, which is where everyone gathers in the evening, this concept is very similar. So that stage right there is where there is live music every single night at 5 p.m. So people will come down here in the evening, bring their lawn chairs, or there are existing chairs that you can see all stacked up here, listen to the music, have a little beverage, maybe a little snack or something, and socialize with their neighbors. Surrounding the squares and radiating out in a pattern are the local businesses that exist here in the Villages. And they're everything from, let's see, there's a Panera Bread over there, to a Starbucks coffee, to a local insurance agency, to a golf cart facility. It's really a wide variety of the services that you would be looking for to run your daily life. One of the things you'll first notice if you come to the Villages are the golf carts. They're everywhere because this is a golf cart community. In other words, you can get anywhere in the Villages just in your golf cart. And actually, some people who live here don't even own a car. They simply take their golf cart wherever they need to go. I've actually been here in the Villages for a couple of days, and one of the first things I did when I got here was to rent a golf cart. You can rent them very easily, and there are locations throughout the Villages, so this has been my golf cart ride since I've been here. One of the most popular features here at the Villages are the clubs, or activity clubs, not golf clubs, but golf clubs are pretty popular as well. The Villages features all types of clubs, and I mean anything you can think of, from watercolor to photography to dance to yoga to tai chi to woodworking to remote controlled boats. Almost any activity you can think of, they have it here in the Villages. And the really cool thing is if there's not a club that contains your interests, you can start a club very, very easily. So they are really, really active in this community. And I think the only way that you're going to stay at home and do nothing is if that's what you choose to do. I am in the car right now outside of the hotel that I've been staying in. I've been staying in the Waterfront Inn, which is connected to Lake Sumter Landing. So I can walk out of the hotel down into the square. There's lots of restaurants and shops, and of course the festivities every evening that begin at 5. Where I'm headed right now is to the Hacienda Recreation Center for Zumba, and I'm really looking forward to it. My Zumba class is here at the La Hacienda Recreation Center. You can see it right behind me. These recreation centers are where a lot of the fitness activities happen. This is where my Zumba class is, and they're dotted everywhere throughout the Villages. Some of them are on the main streets. Some of them are tucked in little neighborhoods like this one here at La Hacienda. I'm gonna go in, take a look around. Why don't you guys come with me? It's after Zumba class, and now I'm going to go grab some breakfast. But I have to tell you, a fun thing happened in Zumba. I met one of you. Hi, Mercedes. How are you? A lovely woman by the name of Mercedes came up and introduced herself. She lives part-time in Virginia and part-time down here in the Villages, so it was really fun to connect with her. Now I'm going to go grab some breakfast at a place called First Watch, which was suggested to me from a friend of mine. Apparently it's a healthy breakfast, so I'm looking forward to that. There are no shortages of restaurants here in the Villages. Everything from a casual burger to a cup of coffee and a muffin, all the way up to fine dining. And a lot of the squares have restaurants within them. In other words, there's lots of restaurants everywhere you go. No matter what you're looking for, casual, fancy, something in between, even ethnic cuisines, you'll be able to find them here in the Villages. I'm currently at Sawgrass Grove, which is one of the squares. And again, what those are almost like little town centers. There's a recreation center here, there's an outdoor seating area, there's a market, there's restaurants, that sort of thing. It's all very well planned, manicured, and kept up. It's absolutely beautiful. This particular square is smaller than some of the squares that are up north. It's newer. It's called Sawgrass Grove again. And it's more in the south area of the Villages and the newer area. And this morning, I'm meeting with a friend. Of course, I think he's a friend because I've been watching his YouTube videos for the last several weeks. His name is Rusty Nelson, and he has a channel about the Villages. So I thought it'd be fun to sit down and chat with him and find out a little bit more about how he ended up here and how he's enjoying his lifestyle here. Look at this guy picked me up on the side of the road. This is Rusty.
Hi.
We're gonna go find someplace cool to sit down and chat for a little bit. We'll catch up with you soon.
Yep, and actually where we're going is, she turns it around, we're going to one of the larger rec centers, the newest one, which is, everything pretty much is geared towards golf. It's actually named after the person that designed all the golf courses here. So
see why I wanted to meet with him? He's a wealth of information, so we're gonna learn a lot. Catch you soon. Rusty and I found a place to sit down, which is, you know, not that easy because there's so many different choices. We finally picked this little space here. And what I want to talk with Rusty about, and I've told you guys, you know, he's one of my good friends. He barely knows me because I've been watching his channel for so long. What I'm curious about, and if you go over to Rusty's channel, and I'll have it listed in the description box down below, you'll be able to watch him go from being mildly interested in the villages, coming down here thinking maybe it's not his cup of tea, and then coming back again, falling in love with it. And I just really want to hear the journey for him, what it was about. So welcome, Rusty. So glad that you're able to join me today.
I'm glad you called me.
You know what I'm curious about is, because I've watched a lot of your videos, I swear I'm not stalking you.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I promise. I am curious because I know you came down here with a friend a while ago, and you guys visited, and you went to one of the squares, and you saw what was going on. You thought, oh, heck no.
Well,
so tell us that story.
What happened was, it was the lady that I was dating at the time, and we decided to take a road trip up the coast of Florida from the Keys. And I had told her, at that time I wanted to find some place to retire that was energetic, where people were active and there's a lot of things to do. And most of the ones that I'd looked at were one clubhouse, one pool, one or two golf courses, that type of thing. And so I had heard about the villages.
Right. I think most of us have heard about the villages.
Yeah, and we've heard all the goofy rumors. I'll tell you right now, they're not true. If you've heard it sounds...
Except for me. They're true for me. No, I'm kidding. They're not. I don't even know what the rumors are.
So we actually, the same place you're at right now, the hotel, the waterfront, for one night. And we walked in there, and it was kind of 7 o'clock or so. And I said, well, let's go out to this square. I heard music. So we went out to the square, and Jimmy Buffett was playing, and I go, all right.
Sounds of my youth, probably your youth as well.
Yeah. As we walked out there, I kind of looked, and she did too, and it was all of these people line dancing to Jimmy Buffett. And she kind of turned around to me and she said, no way, right? But
I don't know. That's starting to sound kind of fun. Is there something in the water here?
Yeah, no. It was just the thought of line dancing, but everybody looked older than us.
Right.
And it was just that magical night when everybody was older than us.
Right. But you were younger back then too.
Well, not a whole lot younger. She was younger because she was 56 or 57.
Okay, that seems young to me.
Well, one thing when you come here, you have to get used to the fact that when you go into a restaurant or you go into a bar, everybody is your age or mostly older, right? So we went back home, and playing pickleball up north, I came across a woman that used to be the pickleball pro here at the villages, and I told her my experience, and she started laughing. She goes, you need to go down south. And I didn't even realize how big the place was at the time. You're probably experiencing that now.
So it's huge. It's like one golf course community, gated golf course community, had 97 babies. And they're all connected.
Yeah. So she said, you have to go down south. So I told her, I said, I'm going back down for a week and doing a lifestyle visit where you come down here for a week and you kind of experience everything. And I did. I came down south, and lo and behold, she was right. People were younger, and there's actually, like a lot of my friends now are in their late 50s, early 60s, and so it's just the demographics where the people are up north, where the place first started, are older because they've lived there longer, and they probably came in their 60s.
Yeah, and isn't that funny, how time progresses and our perceptions change. It's like I look at somebody in their 50s and I think, oh, youngster. Maybe you guys do the same thing.
No, I do the same thing.
Yeah. So you took a second look, and what happened then?
I decided to come back and rent for a month in April. Kind of did the whole thing. When I rented, you rent a house, right? You get all the benefits of somebody that actually lives here, because when they rent their house, you get their card and everything else, and a golf cart. So I lived here for a month, and I just fell in love with the place because it's so active. It's nonstop. I mean, there's always something to do. But the cool thing is that it's because it's so big, there's a variance. Like you can try there's over 3,000 clubs here.
Yeah.
So whether you want to paint rocks, you want to paint houses, you want to go shooting.
Bird watching, archery, pickleball, shuffleboard, everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
And the cool thing is is that people that are in these clubs are there to share their experience, and usually they have experience before here, and they want to help everybody. So whether you're just a beginner or you just want to learn about bird watching, that's about it. But I think next week or this week they have an outdoor, there's always something going on here. I mean, it's insane unless you experience it. And she is right now.
Yeah, I'm done here. So you came back, you felt a bit differently.
A lot differently.
A lot differently.
Yeah, a lot differently.
So what happened next?
Basically, before I came down, like regarding my channel, I literally did it the day before I was coming down here. I said, I don't know where I'm going. I'm going down to this place called the Villages. I've heard all these rumors. I didn't know at the time whether they were true or not. I got down here and I just videotaped my phone call to the sales office, my phone call to the Villages, my rental experience, the house I was in, and everything else, and just documented it as I went along, because I figured somebody would want to know about it.
And he's right. If you go to Rusty's channel, you can literally watch the whole progression, and I've watched most of them. So it's really educational. He answers a lot of really good questions. Okay, so you came down. How did you go from thinking this place is super fun to I think I want to buy a house here?
It didn't take long. I mean, it was pretty much exactly what I was looking for. It was that activity. And here's the thing is, you will hear rumors about stuff, and most of it's not true, but everybody was so friendly. I mean, it's basically, if you're not friendly, get out of here. We don't want to deal with you.
Yeah, or stay in your house.
Yeah.
We love you. Stay home.
And that was one big thing. You kind of get this feeling when you're down here, well, all the homes look the same, and when you go visit them, that they kind of look the same. And the real estate agent that I was dealing with from the Villages just looked at me and said, nobody comes here to live in their house.
And that's true. I think it's like when you were in high school and you came home to brush your teeth and change your underwear and you were back out again.
Yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it. And a lot of people you hear say that here it's not trying to figure out what you're going to do, it's what you're not going to do, because so many things can conflict. And you don't have to. There's plenty of nights when I just sit at home and I go, boy, I just want to sit on the couch for a while and watch some goofy TV show. Yeah. There's always somebody out there that's interested in what you're interested in, because like I said, there's literally 3,000 clubs. So it's a blast.
Yeah. Okay, so the question that I have now is, you came down, weren't so sure, maybe a little turned off, tried it again, loved it, bought a house. Now, how long have you been here living full time?
I'm not here totally full time.
Oh,
I still have an apartment up outside of Philadelphia. So it's kind of like going back and forth once in a while. But I'm down here, like I'm a Florida citizen now.
Okay.
So
Resident. U.S. citizen.
Yes, I'm U.S. citizen.
At least for now.
No, I will always be a U.S. citizen. What was the question again?
What I'm curious about is what has surprised you from actually living here and spending the majority of your time here. Did anything surprise you, or were you something fresh and new that you didn't expect?
I'm a little different because of the YouTube channel I had, so I did a lot of research to do that. But I think how large this really is, and most people think it's like a little kind of tire.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, it's huge. So right now we're in one of the large rec centers, and I believe one of the large rec centers, there's 14 of them or so, maybe more. And then there's all kinds of other rec centers, pools and all that kind of stuff. And it was just the enormity of it. The second part is how friendly everybody is.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a whole month here and I go, I didn't meet one grumpy person. And because everybody's just out having a good
because
time.
they're staying in their house. The grumpy people are staying in their house. It's a rule down here. Yeah.
Definitely pet people down here. A lot of animal, dogs, and I don't know about the other ones. I always see the dogs, but it's just it's really nice. Now, with that said, it's not for everybody.
Right, and I think that that's probably true. One thing that I can attest to is the mood, the attitude, the energy here is happy, which I think is becoming rarer out in the world today because things are a little bumpy right now, but it's a happy place. And as a single woman, I feel incredibly safe here. Like I got last night I got back to my hotel. It was evening, dark, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to put my sneakers on and I'm just going to go walk around a little bit. And I had no concerns at all. I just walked around Sumter Landing, and it was just lovely.
It's pretty safe place. And unfortunately, you have this you know, they say it's Disneyland for adults, right? All you have to do is have one little thing happen, and that's what, of course, the media focuses on, and everybody goes, okay, well, that's what it's like down there. And it's just such a, it is a great place. It's a safe place to live, especially if you like traveling around on a golf cart.
It's one you can go from the very tippy top down to the very bottom in your golf cart. There are some people here that don't have a car. It would take you a while. I think if you went from way up, it's...
In a golf cart? It'd take you an hour and something. If by car, it's at least 30 minutes. If you go down to the new part, 45 minutes.
It took me, I came from Sumter Landing, which is one of the squares, one of the bigger squares, down to here, which is Sawgrass Grove, and I think it took me like 20-something minutes in my car. I wasn't even in a golf cart.
You're a fast driver.
Maybe it was longer, but I think I looked at it was like 20 minutes. Maybe I'm wrong, but it does. It's a very, very big area, and it's continuing to grow.
Yes. In fact, the whole southern area, now Middleton, that they're building right now, actually has, I mean, you should see this school. K through 12, full state. It looks like a college. K through 12, and the developer really, I think, had to kind of do that because they need the support system of families here to keep the villages going, to service it, whether it be doctors or people working in the restaurant industry, whatever it may be.
And I think that's very community oriented.
Right. Yeah. From what I hear, the school is going to be absolutely amazing. I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think you have to actually work at the villages or be involved in it to actually go to its charter school.
Interesting. Yeah. So Rusty knows so much more about the villages than I do, although I'm learning every day.
It comes quick.
He mentioned that we need to go to Eisenhower. Yeah, apparently there's something really cool there. It's a rec center, is that correct?
Yeah, it's a rec center like this, a large rec center. I'll give you a hint, it deals with the military.
Oh!
Yeah, so very patriotic, but it's if you want to see anyone, that's definitely a good one to see.
Okay, well, we're going to go off to there. We'll bring you guys along with us, and we'll see you next stop.
We took a slight deviation. I made her come here to check out Everglades, which is one of the larger rec centers. As you can see, each one of them has a theme, and this one is the state parks. They actually hired a photographer to go out and kind of do photography in all the state parks. Kimberly agreed that each one of these places is actually appointed really well. I mean, they don't hold back. So this is it. Great photography here. There's actually a sales office attached to this, which is kind of nice. I will put a plug in, and I'll say that they are very low pressure salespeople. So you're kind of here to have a good time, and they know it. So. And this is Eisenhower, very patriotic. Everything in here was donated by the people that live here.
I'm at the Lake Okahumpke, I think that's how you pronounce it, recreational center in the south end of the Villages. This is one of the newer rec centers. I don't know how many rec centers are in this community. There's a lot, definitely more than 100. I'm pretty darn sure. This particular rec center, and all of them have a theme. This is a lake house theme, as you could see from the interior decor, and there are boardwalks that go out over this lake Okahumpke. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, I apologize. That you can walk on. It's really quite lovely. In the recreational centers, there are separate rooms for different activities. In other words, if you want to play cards, or if you want to play billiards, or if you want to have a slideshow presentation, there's all different activities that happen in these rec centers, and they're all a little bit different. For instance, this one right over there in the back has an open air atrium that's just covered with screening, like screens on your window. So you actually can sit outside and feel the breeze and that sort of thing without being bothered by the bugs. Very, very handy. This particular rec center was interesting to me because they do kayaking here. Now, it's not the kind of kayaking that I generally do. It's sort of kayaking-ette. It's a little bit of kayaking, but this lake does go beyond the Villages, and that's going to be my next stop. I don't think I'll take you guys along with me because it's not a part of the Villages, but it is a local lake where there is a launch pad for kayaking. So they really have added a lot of open spaces and wetlands and natural areas to the Villages, which, to be honest with you, I was quite surprised at. What I've noticed from driving around, and holy smokes have I done a lot of driving around here, is that there's so much open space, wetlands, natural areas, which really adds to a very peaceful feeling within the Villages. Of course, there are the areas that are busy, there's a ton of people, it's congested, that sort of thing, but there's so much land and so much development within this whole community that you probably can pretty much find what you're looking for, whether you want lots of people or lots of peace and quiet. Each neighborhood or village has its own amenities, and most of them have at least one community pool, which you can see right there behind me. In addition, they'll have things like shuffleboard and lawn bowling and There's tennis down the street. There's beach tennis courts, all types of different activities throughout the whole complex. This particular area, and I don't remember the name of it, I just drove in, but as I'm looking at the parking lot, there are as many golf carts as there are cars. So people really do use their golf carts quite a bit here to just travel around into the neighborhoods. This area right here has not only the pool, but there's a couple of lawn bowling lanes over there and a dog park. It's early evening here in Florida, and folks are already starting to gather in the square for the evening's festivities. The music starts at 5. It's my last night for this Florida trip, so I'm packing up and heading off back to South Carolina tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me on this trip to Florida. I hope you found this little dive into the villages in Florida fun, useful, and helpful. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. You guys know it just tickles me when you take a few minutes out of your day to spend it with me. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you. Again, I'm Kimberly. This is Pretty Over 50, where we talk everything beauty, fitness, and lifestyle for the over 50 and over 60 woman. Make it a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.